Today marks the kickoff point for Season 3 of the Lotus 49 community. Not only that, but it will also be the 12th season which we here at Global SimRacing Channel will cover. The question looming over the season opener is who can make the dozen? Will Claridge come in swinging or will Trengreid and Dudinho have a say? There's only one way to answer these questions, so buckle up, get some popcorn, and join us today as we get ready to watch round 1 of the Grand Prix Legends Series live in the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker, and myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Sean Craigs Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Hated by Formula 1 drivers back in 94-95, the Okayama International Circuit found its second life as a venue for the Super GT Series and the All-Japan Road Race Championship. To really get to know this track, let's head to the tarmac for GSRC's own track guide.
Alright, we've got Ben Zoko in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Okayama. Coming down into turn 1, this is going to be one of your best opportunities for a pass. Just be sure not to turn in too early to this corner, because on the exit, you won't have much time to get back across for Williams. It's just a quick squirt on the power, and then you're threading the needle through this off-camber left-hander. It'll take a gentle right foot to find the throttle again and avoid looping it. But the Moss S won't allow you to take it flat out all the way up to Atwood. That makes it surprisingly tough to execute a pass into here, even though it's a hairpin. But much like the last corner, you'll be feathering your way onto the gas all the way up the hill. The opening radius of the exit makes it especially precarious. Those who can feel out the grip and find a better launch will be in a much better position to defend or attack into the hairpin. Other than the front stretch, this is the next most common place for overtakes to happen. If you're defending, consider the banking on the outside though. Keep alongside your opponent, you've got the inside for revolver. That is a very tricky corner to go side by side through, trust me. Then, as you plunge downhill, you swing it through Piper. The pit buildings leave very little room to the outside for runoff, so try your best not to get it out into the grass. From there, you've got a little blast into Redmond. This kicks off the painfully slow back and forth into Hobbs. It's very tough to gain time here, but it's oh so easy to lose a bunch if you botch one of these. The low gears means it's best not to mash the throttle too hard on your way out. You'll need a bit of brake into Mike Knight, let the car drift out, and then set yourself up for this last corner. Obviously, a good run is going to be critical because of this leading up to the first turn, but hopefully you've kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Okayama.
One slidey lap around the Okayama International Circuit in the Lotus 49. Ryan, what else can you add to what just Joe told us?
Yeah, this fantastic Okayama track has been famous for hosting a range of other series in the past. But first, let's go into the details. The track is 2.314 miles in length, or 3.724 kilometers if you're using that. Has 11 turns, and the track has been famous for hosting the Pacific Grand Prix back in 1994 and 1995. And it was won by the famous Michael Schumacher. And also, like you mentioned, Steph, it's been famous for hosting the Super GT series as well, and a whole range of other Japanese racing series as well. And in fact, it's a fantastic track. And today it will be host to round 1 of the new Grand Prix Legends season.
Yeah, and a special season it will be for these guys, not only the 12th season, but also, if you haven't realized that yet, we have a 13-week season. Because we have to make that adjustment to once again align our calendar up with the real world calendar. Speaking about calendars, let's have a look at the past season's calendar, and more especially the Driver Championship standings. Starting with the F1 Driver Championship, Mick Claridge wasn't able to get his clean sweep last season. He did drop the last race, so he's only at 466 points. Nicola Kochi, as we pretty much already confirmed in the broadcast last season, he most definitely was the vice champion, the runner-up in the championship. more correctly spoken out. 345 points to his name, with Pika Mikas in third. Over Trangrid finished in a respectable fourth place, and Michel Dunino, the perfect 300 for him, in fifth place. Ryan, how did the F2 championship fade out?
The F2 Championship was really close for most of the season, but in the end, it was Germany's Eric Luckel taking the championship with 194 points. David Rossi wasn't too far behind in second, and then rounded out the top three was Canada's Joey Relia, and then Alessandro Parigi from Italy in fourth, and Andrew Eng rounded out the top five with 98 points. And yeah, I think for the F2 Championship, it's going to be pretty much the same thing this season.
Yeah, hopefully it will be a little bit more contested, because a lot of people didn't race every race last season. Last but not least, speaking about that, the Nations Cup is also a thing we follow here, like they did back in the days of the Lotus 49. The United Kingdom did win that, won 498 points to their names, with the United States 443. In second place, Italy, a respectable 387 points to the name to boost them up from sixth into third place, with France finishing in fourth and Norway taking home a fifth place. With that second place from over Trengrid from the Nürburgring, they were able to jump Slovakia for that fifth place. Ryan, last but not least, it's the race details for today. We might have some new viewers joining us today, so why don't you give them a quick rundown of what we're able to see today?
Absolutely. So this is round one of the new season, and for this season as well. I think last season it was 12 rounds, but this season we've got 13. So more racing for new viewers that might be tuning into the series. Today it will be 23 laps for round one. The setup is open as always. So anything you want to change, like tire pressures, right height, cambers, anything like that, you're free to do so. And the incidents are 17x will equal a penalty, or if you get to 25x, that will be a disqualification from the race. So these drivers are going to have to be very careful in the early stages of the race.
That will be most definitely a thing, especially here with that slippery surface at Okayama. And as always, you're watching your Lotus 49 fix officially on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure to like and especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because that button will still be very bright red just below this broadcast. As always, if you want to follow your specific most favorite driver in the series, gsrc.tv is your page to go to, because that is our official timing and scoring page for all of our broadcasts. Right now, you can see Mikelaj is in first place. He already did his first lap just a few moments ago. 27.832 to his name right now, with Oetrengrid about a 10th behind. And that's already a 4/10th drop back to third place. Nicola Kochi running in his number 3 machine.
And at the moment in qualifying, it's that man in pole position. Yep, you've guessed it. Mick Claridge, last season's champion, up there in pole position, but he's not getting away without this at the moment. This so far, Owe Trengrid's only about a 10th behind him.
Yeah, let's have a see how that is going to play out in the last few moments of this qualifying. We still have 2.5 minutes to go, so these drivers will be most definitely able to finish their laps, with qualifying times ranging from a 1:25 to a 1:32 right now. Last driver in that is Russell Whitworth in 32nd place. Bill Tyler, I think, just jumped up to fourth place in the qualifying standings. Let's have a look if Mikelaj is able to go faster. No, he decides to actually go for a practice start, because that lap wasn't fast enough for him. So yeah, that pretty much, I would say, confirms nearly the pole position for Mikelaj. He's actually going to line up in first place. However, Trengrid won't be able to get that second lap in, because he did have an off track there. Antonio Rees jumps up, and that is a spun around Telmo Amaral out of the last turn. Rafael Dorado makes his way 12th place right now for the number 7 machine. Let's see if he's able to improve on that. 7/10 faster for him, and that jumps him up quite nicely.
Yeah, at the moment in qualifying, it's pretty much say everyone's put a lap in, or just about. There's still a few cars that are either not set a lap or they maybe got an off track in their lap. So at the moment, it's pretty much with not long left in qualifying. At the moment, it's still Claridge on pole, but yeah, just looking at the moment, the surprise person in qualifying for me is yeah, Bill Tyler and Sebastian Tix here.
So let's see, a few more are driving around here. Telmo Amaral is doing some practice laps after his spin out of the last turn. Antonio Rees is also still continuing on his way around from just a practice lap that was, so that was his 3rd lap anyway. So a few people still driving around, but yeah, our grid is most definitely confirmed as of this point. As we switch over to the gridding phase here in just a few moments, we can already run you down the grid order for today, and it is confirmed the number 1 of McLaren, our season 2 champion, is going to defend his pole position, at least for right now. Overturn Grade will be laying up alongside him in 2nd place, with Nicola Kochi and Bill Tyler being situated in the 2nd row. Sebastian Tixier and Rafael Dorado will start side by side in 5th and 6th, with Peter Mikus in 7th, Rob Olenek a slow start to the season, only 8th place in qualifying for him, with Alessandro Parisi and Gary Thiel completing your top 10 of this qualifying.
Starter in 11th is Andre Schumacher, 12th is Ante Kiran, 13th is Marco Kika, 14th is David Rossi with Antonio Rees in 15th, 16th is Eric Luco, Pekka Risto in 17th, Warren Watkins in 18th, 19th is Telmo Amaral, and rounding out the 20 is John Van Dorn.
Chris Hengler is going to be in 21st, Andrew Eng beside him, Matt Yeomans 23rd, Andres Bruno, Trent Buss, Julio Forsolin, Emmanuel Pereira, Hideki Koivisto in 28th, Gary Anderson in 29th. 30th went to David M. Meyer, with 31st going to Bouvier, with Russell Whitworth being the last car to put in a qualifying time here today. The rest of the grid will run through your screen as we get ready to watch the lights for this first round of the season. Only 3 cars remain outside of their grid boxes. Going to be very interesting who is going to be leading into turn 1. We know Mick Kletch is a very good starter, as Gary Thiel makes his way onto his grid box that is completing our grid for right now. I think now in the very back there's still someone missing. Now they go, green flag is out, and we have a good launch from Mick Kletch, overturning a miserable start. Already gets attacked by Nicola Kochi going into turn 1. The Italian is not able to really go into the attacking side. He stays in 3rd place. Bill Tyler is being attacked by Peter Mikus into 4th place. That is maybe, no, that's actually for 5th place. Peter Mikus and Bill Tyler still side by side, but Bill Tyler has the better part there. Now Rob Olenek goes to the inside of Peter Mikus, and he'll come together, Olenek and Tyler, but they manage to stay out of each other's way, and Rob Olenek moves up. Few drivers have had some incident. Lukel and Kika made some contact. Also, I see Bouvier in the pit lane, and Dorado, also one of the cars that was involved in probably all of that carnage there in the first few laps. But apart from that, I don't see really any other incidents.
Yeah, there's not been any major incidents apart from that one with Luco, but up at the front at the moment as they head down towards the end of lap 1, it's still McLaren's in the lead, and he's doing what he done at the start of last season. At the start of races, slowly pulling away and building up a gap, and the Ove Trengrade, as we know, towards the end of the race seems to come good. So maybe just he's tyres are not up to temperature or not up in that optimal range.
Sebastian Tixier right now in 4th place, one of the winners in the start. But there's already starting to be a little bit of gap between himself and Nikola Kochi in 3rd place, with the 2 drivers of Bill Tyler and Rob Olenek most definitely hot on his heels. Let's see if Tixier is able to hold that position going into the hairpin. Bill Tyler sets up that move, tries to stay a little bit more to the inside, while Sebastian Tixier really shoots for that V-shaped exit, or rather corner, and goes for that straight exit onto the backstretch into the hairpin. Seems like he's able to defend that position. And what I have been told, we actually do have the incident on cameras of what happened there between Luco and all the other drivers. So maybe let's try to get that on our screens right now with a replay. The action right now does allow that. So Ryan, why don't you talk us through that incident?
Indeed, and just looking at the replay at the moment, it seems to be everyone bunches up into turn 2, and yeah, someone goes off the track, and as they're coming up to the hairpin now, heading onto the back straight, it looks like under brakes, yeah, just everyone just bunched up, and it caused a concertina effect, and unfortunately Luco was the unfortunate victim, with someone else in the gravel with him as well.
Very unlucky for Eric Luco, but he is still going right now, sitting in 29th position. Actually, he's up to 27th already, so he made up 2 positions in this lap. So very lucky for him to still be running, but we have a bias for B5. That's Olenek past Bill Tyler, but Olenek goes very wide and will allow the momentum carried back by Bill Tyler. With the switcheroo, he does get the better exit, but the momentum kicks now in from Rob Olenek side by side. They still got a little bit of a kink there to the left. Still going side by side into the braking zone of the hairpin. The number 4 in behind outbrakes himself a little bit, but they still stay side by side. The next one is a left-hander, the inside for Olenek, and he's able to make that move down. That also opens up the door for Peter Mikus and Bill Tyler in threat of losing 2 in 1, and most definitely that's the case for him. Back to 7th place for Bill Tyler.
And that's the thing with this track as well, especially in the last sector with these hairpins. If someone's up the inside of you, you can't really do anything. You can't get back to the inside to defend that line. Unfortunately, Bill Tyler, he left the door open after Rob passed him, and yep, as they proved, Peter Mikus took advantage of that and gained position.
Obviously, that has dropped them a little bit off the back of Sebastian Tixier. That gap is now up to nearly 2 seconds. In front, though, still McClarch leading by only a tenth over Trengrid. So after his miserable start, he has been able to close that gap a little bit again. Was already up to a second. Wow, Mikus McClarch very aggressive there over the curb at the Moss chicane, if I'm correct, that is. So, yeah, very interesting line for McClatch. You most definitely have to be a little bit careful with this car, especially if you cut over some grass, Rod.
Absolutely, and the battle for P6 further back is going on between Peter Mikus and Bill Tyler, as we ride on board Bill Tyler heading into the hairpin. And as Mikus gets a little bit sketchy.
A little bit of a train, actually, that one is for this position. Starts pretty much with Rob Olenek in 5th place and goes all the way back to Antti Kärinen in 12th place. So 7 cars in a line there, pretty much nose to tail, with Kärinen being a little bit behind, but also he's catching the back end of Antonio Ries right ahead of him. Well, we continue to ride on board, looking over the shoulder of Peter Mikus, that was. We really are able to see how much these drivers have to fight the Lotus 49 and the back end of it through those hairpins, as they did complete lap number 4 right there. And then up ahead over Trengrid, most definitely is starting to catch McClatch right now. The gap has gone down last lap by another 4/10. So let's see if the Norwegian is already able to do something here through the hairpin. If you're interested in that, the track temperature right now 32 degrees Celsius. So maybe that is exactly what Trengrid was aiming for, track temperature-wise.
Yeah, we've noticed this with Ove quite a lot in races, especially last season. He seems to drop off a little bit at the start of the races, but as the race goes on, he seems to be able to just pick up that pace, and it could be a setup thing, the track temperature dependent as well. But yeah, he's absolutely closed the gap back up to Mick as well. And Mick, by the looks of it, from Ovi's onboard, he seems to be struggling a little bit.
Which is rather interesting because normally he's one of the drivers that's really strong out of slow corners. He always sets his car up that way with a lot of differential preload. But right now it most definitely doesn't seem like it's benefiting him too much because Overtraingerate has found something to counter the strong parts of Leclerc and get up to the back of him. Let's see how that is going to develop through these next few laps. 23 laps in total we will see here today. We're already in lap number 6, a little bit wide from Leclerc once again. Oh, and another cut through the grass right before the braking zone. That's not good. Was very out of shape there. Really overtrained now beneath the gearbox of him, and he feels the pressure. Not a slide from Leclerc. He has to be careful because Overtrained knows his parts. He knows where he is strong, and he knows most definitely how to overtake.
He does indeed, and yeah, it looks like Mick's struggling with the setup as well. Maybe his setup is not set up for these track conditions and track temperature. But Ove at the moment, he seems more than happy to just sit behind. But also in the background, in third place, Nicola Coche is slowly closing these guys down.
1.4 seconds right now the gap is between Nicola Coche and Overtrained. As I see David Beatty, he is in pit lane. He seemed to have had a mishap out on track. No need to go to that though, because the battle still extremely hot between Trangerate and Leclerc. Trangerate most definitely trying to put on the pressure, and it really does seem like Leclerc is feeling that pressure because he's starting to accumulate on the off-track side of things. Probably not on the incident points, but at least putting two wheels pretty much regularly off this racing surface. A little bit of a slide from Trangerate. That means he loses a lot of speed, a lot of momentum as well. And so we're gonna step back a little bit to Alessandro Parigi sitting in P number 9. Andre Schumacher is right behind him. The German driver tries to make the best out of that situation. And number 34, by the way, sitting in 10th place. That will be a lot of iRacing yield if he can hold that position.
Indeed it will, and yep, Andy was another driver that improved towards the end of last season, and yeah, doing well again in round 1, sitting in P10, and right behind Parigi, but behind him he's got Antonio Rees and the Finnish driver of Kranen behind, so yeah, these guys are relatively close together.
And a little bit ahead of them after passing Bill Tyler. He lost 1.5 seconds, but he finally made that time back and is at the back of Sebastian Tixier. We're talking about Rob Olenek, 4th place in the championship, a very long time, or rather fighting for that first place a very long time in last season. Let's see. Oh, Tixier with a slide through turn 1. Olenek tries to go to the inside, expecting Tixier to go wide. Didn't happen though. Had to really go on the binders to not hit him. Now they nearly go side by side through the off-camber turn 2. There's now also a lap car to the left side. That was Russell Woodworth. They all perfectly pass. Now also Mikas goes back to them, and Olenek goes to the inside of Sebastian Tixier for 4th place. Tixier on the marbles, doesn't have the grip he needs. He is losing that position, maybe even back to Peter Mikas, who is starting to go side by side with him. He doesn't have the momentum though, but might still try for a lunge down the inside. No, being cut off by Tixier, so he is able to at least hold that 5th position for now.
Yep, and Mikas is trying everything to get by, but he couldn't get a run or go up the inside because Tixier defended the inside. So yeah, has to just tuck him behind, and Rob Olenek, by the looks of it, pulling away ever so slightly, and they trying to leave Tixier and Mikas to scrap amongst themselves.
let's see, maybe Mika's able to do something into turn 1. It is possible to actually facilitate a move into turn 1. You just have to really set up this last corner as he's trying to do it, but that was a little bit too much of a setup. And so he's actually losing out to Sebastian Tixia down this very short front stretch. He's able to take much later. Back to P9 we go though, because Alessandro Prix is once again under attack from Andre Schumacher down into turn 1. He makes the move happen. What a mistake from Parisi. Schumacher says, thank you very much. I'm like Michael, I'm gonna go for the gap.
Yeah, that was a fantastic move. Yeah, Parigi he tried to defend the inside and he might have just been looking at his mirrors too much or just distracted, and unfortunately ended up outbraking himself into turn 1. And Andre just thought, you know what, I'll take that position. And yeah, he's just I was like snatching candy from a baby.
Andre Schumacher right now telling the story of why not always iRacing is telling all the story. 1272 is his iRating, and he's most definitely showing these guys how to do it. Going a little bit up once again to Peter Mikas versus Sebastian Tixia. Tixia for right now still holding that 5th place. Sorry, 6th place rather. No, that's 5th place because we have 2 drivers once again into the pit lane. That's really like sometimes that, but Peter Mikas most definitely still hot on the heels there of that 5th place driver of Sebastian Tixia.
Indeed he is, and I think it's just a matter of time before Peter makes a move. I think they're coming up to. Is that Rob Olenek? Yeah, Rob Olenek having issues trying to get by a back marker, and they got held up. As we've got a replay coming up right now.
Yeah, that was Michael Ogrodnichuk who he had troubles with going past. I just didn't expect Ogrodnichuk to still be there by the apex, so it turned in normal. Did offset Olenek there a little bit, but it's alright. He is still in 4th place, ahead of Tixia and Peter Mikas. Obviously, that did diminish his gap that he already had to Tixia, but with the speed he has been showing thus far, the New England driver most definitely will bridge that gap out once again. Going up 1 position more, overturning rate still hot on the gearbox of Miklesh. I think at this point he most definitely would be able to disassemble and reassemble that gearbox without even needing a handbook.
I'm amazed that they always still keep it up with Mick. I mean, Mick normally seems to, if he makes a mistake, seems to be able to regroup and just pull away, but at the moment he's not been able to do that, and the Ove train grid just pile on the pressure, and I think it's just a matter of time before Ove makes a move and tries to possibly gets by. But with something like probably just about halfway through the race, yeah, I think Ove is just maybe thinking of the long game and just timing when to make a move.
Yeah, let's see how long it's going to take him to facilitate that move, because right now that was a good exit. Oh, he loses his rear over Tringrade's own setup style. Bites him a little bit there in the back. Not really able to get that momentum. He needs to facilitate something into the hairpin. But one thing I just saw, David Meyer, 28th position driver. He is the next to be led by Mick Ledge and over Tringrade. And I think that is going to be happening through the switchback hairpins. Going back to P9 though, we have Andre Schumacher and Alessandro Prix once again side by side. And Schumacher has been able to take back that position through the hairpin. Great braking maneuver there for Schumacher, facilitate that pass. No, actually that already happened then. Sorry, my mistake. Obviously, Schumacher already did overtake him in turn 1, so I'm hyping up a battle. That's the wrong way around. Parisi is trying to take back that 9th position from Schumacher. But in that, we also have Antti Kerinen and Antonio Rees joining that one, with David Rossi not too far behind. Oh, Mikhail Godnichuk once again getting in the way of somebody behind him. Slowing down Andre Schumacher, this time through the last turn. He now has to go on the defensive from Parisi, and he's a little bit too hot into turn 1. That might give opportunity to Parisi, but he is too slow through turn 1. Nearly gets run to the back of himself by Ketten, and now he makes another mistake through the outside of turn 2 because Anders Schumacher really slows down for that one, and it just kicks off nearly another battle between Parisi and Ketten, but they all stay single file for now. Let's have a look through turn number 5. They go for the 12th time in this race. Parisi, a little bit of a bad exit there. I might give an opportunity to Ketten in behind. Let's see what the Finn is able to do. Goes to the outside, a little bit of an overlap there into the hairpin, but he has to stick back once again.
And these guys squabbling amongst themselves has given the Schumacher ahead of them a chance to stay build a little bit of a gap. And yeah, it's Parigi, Kiran and Reyes battling away. So yeah, still fantastic battles going on throughout the field, and yeah, this seems to be the closest battle at the moment, and apart from the one up at the front.
And something. Oh, that's a touch. That's Parisi nearly into the wall. Loses his car, I think. There was looking away, and I think he actually has some wheel damage from that. Yeah, Parisi most definitely has wheel damage from that hit, so let's go on board once again. And I think there was already a touch right here. And then, yeah, that's weird. I think he already experienced some wheel damage right there, because normally you don't see that mistake from Parisi.
Yeah, that was a weird one. Yeah, into the middle of the hairpin, there was a bit of contact that I noticed on the rear, and then Parigi had another bit of contact, but again, this battle for the lead up at the front would just not settle down.
Yeah, before we actually really focus on that battle, I want to say something. Rob Olenek, I don't know what happened to him, but all of a sudden he's 6 seconds behind Nicola Kochi, and 2 seconds in front of Sebastian Tixier, so I think they all had a little bit of a problem with some lap traffic, because Olenek lost about 2 seconds in one of the laps to Kochi. So very interesting development up there. Mikus still continues very close to the back of Tixier. Oetrengrid, meanwhile, still continues on the back of Mick Claridge. Why do I switch them up all the time? I do not know. But Oetrengrid continues to be on the back of Mick Claridge, and I feel like Mick Claridge is getting a little bit used to the pressure of Oetrengrid.
He's been under pressure at times last season, and the else was Ovi just about runs into the back of him under braking, and but Ovi gets a great run in the exit, and he might get up there inside heading down to the hairpin.
Yeah, let's have a look. That was a great exit from Oetrengrid. Goes to the left side because there's no room on the right side. He actually goes side by side now. For the first time in this race, we have a little bit of a battle here on our end for first place, but Oetrengrid has to stick back once again. So most definitely it once again shows that you can attack Mick Claridge if you are on a top-notch performance, and most definitely Oetrengrid does have that one today up on his back. Question is though, lap number 14 out of 23, we have only 10 laps to go with this one. So the question only is Oetrengrid able to get that move done? Because we only have pretty much 2 passing opportunities. One right here. Turn 1, that's one of the passing opportunities, and then at top of the hill, that's the hairpin, that's another overtaking opportunity, the only 2 we have on this short track.
And it looks like as well, Ovi is just trying everything to get by Mick, but I think Ovi's best chance of trying to make a move on Mick is on the exit of this long hairpin going uphill they're coming up to now. And if Ovi can get a great run in the exit, as Mick gets a bit sideways on the entry, and again Ovi is really close on the exit, but Mick gets sideways again.
Yeah, another mistake for Mick Claridge. This is really unusual for him. So let's see if Oetrengrid is able to be a little bit more brave on the brake this time. Nope, that's most definitely no. Stays pretty much the same as Mick Claridge. And there's another lap car coming up. This one is Russell Whitworth. So let's see where they are going to catch him. Maybe they're lucky and catch him out of the last turn. Seems like that's going to be happening because it's still quite a few seconds up to him. But yeah, Oetrengrid continues to be just better through these hairpins, as it seems like. Very interesting. That's normally nothing you see between those two because, as said, McClanch always tunes his car for those low-speed turns. And sure enough, there's Whitworth now right ahead of them. The white car goes over to the right side. So once again, lucky with the traffic. McClatch continues to lead into lap number 16. That's 8 laps to go. Goes a little bit sideways, backs off over Trangerate because it has another slide over Trangerate to the inside of turn 2. But he can't keep the momentum up, so he stays in second place.
Yeah. Ovi is just.
Oh, Clash!
That's the grass. Whoa, that was how us UK people like to call it a squeaky bum moment.
Most definitely there. I think he gained more stopping power with that squeaky bum moment, because otherwise he would not have been able to save that one. McClatch continues with that, still in first place, but most definitely he is showing that he is starting to once again feel the pressure applied by the Norwegian right behind him.
I think it's just a matter of time before Ovi gets by as well, because again, every time Ovi gets right behind Mick, as though someone's off in the grass, but thankfully they keep out the way. And Mick is feeling that pressure big time now, and I think it's just a matter of time before Ovi possibly gets by.
That was Julia Forsolin there in that black machine, or sorry, red machine actually, that they went past, and we can report that in the back, Antti Kerinen got past Schumacher, but Schumacher got past Kerinen again, so that reversed once again, so Schumacher continues to be in a 9th place with his number 34 machine. Meanwhile, we're gonna stay on this battle until something really exciting happens in the back of the pack. With only 7 laps to go, these two being this hot, the two title competitors for pretty much every season we have seen thus far. Them race over Trangerate. Once again, a little bit of a slide that gives once again the momentum back to McClatch. So McClatch safe for right now because it's only about 125 meters of a braking zone into the hairpin. Actually, let's go back to the battle for P number 10. After getting passed back by Schumacher, he lost 3.5 seconds and is now being attacked by Tony Rees. We're talking about Antti Kerinen holding that last place in the top 10s, but on Tony Rees, most definitely, Iberian wants to take that one away. But we have to go back to the lead once again because McClatch, once again, very hard under attack. Over Trangerate tried to do something through the switchback hairpins, wasn't able to really get something done through the Mickey Mouse section, but he once again gets a very good run out of the last turn. McClatch goes to the very inside. He has to do it, and once again a little bit of a slide by him. Over Trangerate has the outside open, but no grip available to him. Has a little bit of a slide out of the turn himself. Tries to set up turn 2 as McClatch. Once again, big slide through that off-camber second turn. Once again, over Trangerate, hot on the heels. This might be the pass that he wanted to have. The opportunity is there. He has the speed. Can he make the move done? Let's have a look. He gets a nice run out of this turn. Over Trangerate, on the slipstream he goes. McClatch goes to the very right side, to the edge of the grass. Over Trangerate, to the left side. Side by side for the braking zone through the 3rd time here. Let's have a look. Over Trangerate once again has to stick back because he just can't keep the momentum out on the high side of the hairpin.
It just seems to be at Ovi. Every time he gets a run on that back straight, Mick just goes to the inside. Ovi he can't really try and go on the outside or try and hold it on the outside basically. It just seems to be he has to back off and just tuck him behind. But as the battle for P10 is still going on.
Yeah, that is still Anthony Rees versus Antti Kerinen. Just 2 tenths between them, and they're getting joined by David Rossi in 12th place. So soon we might see a 3-car fight for that last position inside the top 10. As they now also enter the switchback hairpins, it's probably one of the most controversial sections of a track, Ryan. I think that's how you would kind of be able to really tell the story of this section here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just one of those sections that you kind of want to just float up the inside sometimes and try and make a move, but on the other hand, you can't really do that. Otherwise, most of the time anyway, it just ends up in disaster. But this battle for P10 is still going on between the Kiranen and the Rias, and they not too far behind by the looks of it. It looks like David Rossi's managed to close on these guys as well.
As these guys continue to run in a nice single file formation, we're gonna go back to the battle for first place because of Tringerate. He still continues to be hounding that back. I'm pretty sure that he now even could switch out that engine if he would have to on the Lotus 49. A little bit of a slide of the second chicane of those switchbacks, rather hairpin of those switchback hairpins. With Trengrid once again a little bit of a slide there, feels his own pressure apparently, because now he's starting to make mistakes while Mikkelaj drives a little bit away because of that. As they enter lap number 20, only 4 more to go. The passing opportunities are running out for Ove Trengrid.
They are indeed, and Ove his best shot of making a move is on this back straight they're heading up to now, and they just try and get a good exit on this lawn hairpin, try and make Mick go wide a little bit and try and stick to the inside and keep tight as possible. But Mick this time around gets a good exit, and Ove is a little bit too far back.
Track temperature has risen up to 34 degrees Celsius, so we gained 2 degrees Celsius. Maybe that also helps a little bit for Mikkelaj. We'll have to see for the interviews if he's able to tell us how the car did feel for him today. Nonetheless, Ove Trengrid still continues to be right on the back of him. UK and I versus Norway. We stopped counting many months ago on how many occasions they were battling for the lead. Be it this way around or the other way around, as they now also have a little bit of a traffic coming up. Emmanuel Pereira and Chris Hengler going to be those two. 30th and 23rd respectively, those two. Ove Trengrid, a little bit of a slide on the downshift too early on it, is able to keep his car together though. As, that might be a little bit troublesome now for Mikkelaj. The first car jumps out of the way, that's Emmanuel Pereira. Still might have a bit of an impact on the line of him. No, all good for both of them. The right-hander up the hill now, very tricky to take, especially on roads 49. Doesn't like to have that acceleration and turning at the same time. But for the 21st lap, they managed that. Another car this time to the inside, Chris Hengler. This might be a little bit troublesome for Mikkelaj. He loses a lot of time, but this time he has the inside and he's able to keep Ove Trengrid behind. Another car, that will be Andres Bruno, 20th. He's also going to be lapped very soon. So Mikkelaj now getting a little bit into the thick of traffic.
Yes, indeed, and I think this could help Ove. Mick just seems to be building up that gap a little bit, but the traffic could help Ove close back up, and depending on where they catch it, as they're closing up on one of the back markers now, he's going to get out of the way.
Very bad timing for Mikkelaj there. That was once again Russell Whitworth going the 3rd lap down on our leaders. Ove Trengrid and Mikkelaj open up lap number 22. 2 to go for these two. Only 3 more passing opportunities remain for Ove Trengrid. Next car in line, that now really is Andres Bruno, 22nd. So he most definitely had a mishap and lost 2 positions last lap. But here we go, Ove Trengrid once again very close to the back, has a slide, but also Mikkelaj has a slide. There's a car spun out on the right side, that's Michael Ogronichuk. He is not going to be interfering with those two either.
And they've managed to get by the back markers without any issues. And yeah, it must be so frustrating for Ove.
Oh, Mikkelaj! What
that
a
was
slide from him.
That was well held. That was a nice save by Mick, and that's gave Ove the chance to close right up now under braking.
Oh, another slide. Oh, that was nearly a touch there between those two. Mikkelaj now once again feeling the pressure. Another slide. 3 corners in a row. He is feeling that pressure and the heat from the track maybe as well. Goes a little bit sideways through the penultimate turn now, also over Trengert. A little bit sideways, but both of those are expected and nearly wanted in Lotus 49. Mikkelaj once again goes into the defensive, but he thus once again move over to the left side because he realizes Overtranger is too far back to stick his nose in. White flag in the air. We're on lap number 23 and Overtranger only has one more realistic passing opportunity left to go. Let's see how they're gonna be able to take this chicane. They're taking it without any issues. Mick Crouch still continues to be leading. A little bit sideways on the brakes once again. This might be the opportunity Overtranger wanted. He's super sideways. He's still not catching that car. Now he has it. Mick Crouch is behind the number 1 for the first time in this race. Only in second place. Overtranger goes over to the right side. Is defensive right now into the hairpin. The red machine, the number 6 car in second place. He was down in this lap. Still in first place. Mikkelaj has to make his moves count. A few corners still remain through revolver for the last time. Overtranger a little bit sideways. This might have been the mistake of the race from Mikkelaj. He tries to dive it into the switchback hairpins to the inside. That's going to be the outside for the exit here. He tries to do a switcheroo, but Overtranger parks the bus on the apex. He's not able to get past the UK&I driver. This might have been the mistake of the race because that has lost him the win here today at Okayama. Give it up for your winner, Overtranger. And Mikkelaj actually wrecks his car before the finish line. Nikola Kochi takes second place. Mikkelaj tumbles down the standings as we go back to the battle for 6th. Peter Mikos takes home that 5th place battle now. Antti Karinen, he's gonna be taking home maybe a 9th place over Antonio Rees. Let's have a look. Yes, he's able to take that one away. So Antonio Reed with a 10th place finish.
Yeah, I'm just watching the battle for P14 as well between the Risto and Amaral, and it looks like at the moment Andre is going to hold on for P14 as they come round to the final couple of corners. And yep, Andre is going to hold on for P14, but Risto has got a great exit, but Andre is going to hold on. So yeah, that's the end of the race, and yeah, just going to go for a quick break, and after that we'll go through the results.
We welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show, streaming into your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. And what a race we have seen! A whole race fight between Overtranglerate and Mick Cledge, with Overtranglerate, the number 6 car, beating out Mick Cledge just because of one simple mistake the UK and driver did. Second place went to Nicola Koch because Mick Cledge wrecked just before the finish line, standing in front of it just about a foot away. So Nicola Kochi, second place. Rob Olenek, a third place for him. He gained 5 positions to find him there, with Sebastian Tixier finishing in 4th place, 10 seconds in the very end behind Rob Olenek. Number 4 driver Peter Mikus finishes in 5th, with Bill Tyler in 6th. 7th place went to Gary Thiel, and Andre Schumacher, the number 34 machine, goes up to 8th place from 11th. That will be a nice points gain for him here today. Antti Kerinen, only 2 months into iRacing, 2 races of the Lotus 49, first top 10 of the season, and his experience most definitely has gone up very much with that 9th place. So the Finn doing a very great job, with the number 10 of Antonio Rees finishing out the top 10 of this field.
Finishing in 11th was David Rossi, with the F2 champion Eric Luco finishing in 12th. 13th was Pekka Ristu. Andre Eng finishing in 14th. Telma Almiral in 15th. 16th was Matt Yeomans. 17th was Warren Watkins. 18th was Trent Bussey. 19th was Hideki Kavisto. 20th was Colin Bentley.
21st and 1 lap down with that is Mick Claridge. So he's gonna lose a lot of points there, and as we know, the Lotus 49s, this might actually be really the championship decider between himself and the champion of the season, but a very long way to go. Andres Brun in 22nd, Emmanuel Pereira in 23rd, Dave Cohen 24th, 25th went to Julia Forceline, David Meyer finishes in 26th, Gary Anderson, the last car in a 1 lap down, in 27th, and the rest of the drivers that did finish or did wreck out are gonna scroll across your screen, because we have the first driver in interview. It's Nicola Kochi, second place in the very end. Nicola, very lonesome race, but not too far behind the leaders. How did the track feel for you out there today?
Yeah, hi guys. In the first part, I felt the car pretty grippy and pretty fast, but maybe because of my a little like over the top driving style, I overheated the tires a little bit, as usually happens to me. And in the second part, I was sliding a lot. I was struggling to get some grip, and I tried to drive as smooth as possible. But once you get too much heat on these tires, it's pretty hard to get rid of. So I tried just to stay calm and to drive as smooth as possible, and hope to stay close to the couple of guys in front. But with some back markers, I lost a little, a few tenths here, a few tenths there, and I was 3 seconds behind. And honestly, I don't even know how I could get like a second place.
Yeah, Mick Cledge did wreck out of the last turn and was just a few centimeters even in front of the finish line. Didn't cross it, but did exit out of his car. Now, Nicola Okayama, the first round of the season, the worst track out of the way, I would say. How do you feel about this track?
I like this track, honestly. I think it was one of the first that I did my season with the 49, like back to 2 years ago, something like that. But I think I like it. It fits weirdly in a good way with this car, and it's very nice driving here, sliding all over the place, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Last but not least, what can we expect from the Lotus 49 at the Monza Grand Prix track, but without the chicanes? What is your perspective on your home race track?
Well, first of all, I think I'm pretty disappointed that we are going to race in Monza, but not in Monza combined, in a regular kind of Monza without the the banking, because that Monza combined is one of the toughest and one of the craziest track in the service, and do that race with this car is really, really thrilling. So I take like any day of the week Monza combined rather than any kind of other version of Monza for sure. But it's gonna be fun anyway, even if it's a little slower. But yeah, I never raced in that configuration, so I'm kind of curious about what I can pull that off.
All right. Well, clear words from you there, Nicola. For Monza. I'm also a little bit sad that we didn't get the combined no chicanes there, but we have to take what we get, and that's the Monza Grand Prix no chicane layout, and I'm pretty sure we will see also a very great race there. Nicola, congrats on your second place finish here today, and good luck for next week.
Thank you, guys. See you there. Bye bye.
Nicola Kochi, second place finisher out here today. Next up, it's Mick Clouch, not second, but 21st.
Hello, Steph.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry about that. My microphone is muted. Yeah, Mick, that was you were having a decent race, and for most of it, you were having a great race in Ove, but just seemed to make a mistake that gave Ove a chance to pounce and take the lead on the last lap. And going across the line, you seemed to randomly, anyway, wreck the car. Was that just a sign of frustration?
It wasn't random, Ryan. It wasn't randomly. No, do you know what? It was quite funny. Yeah, Uwe was fast on Thursday, so we had a race on Thursday, and he was quick on Thursday. And I was having trouble with him that day as well, and I knew it was good because he was actually practicing today, which is even worse. So then as we pulled away, I just knew he was going to catch me on the second or third lap, so that's what happened. And then, yeah, just great TV until the end, wasn't it? And then the thing with Uwe is, I mean, I've known him for years now, and how he drives, he'll always go for it on the last lap, and he really, really pushes hard on the last lap. And I knew that was going to happen. So I was actually talking out loud to myself. I was just saying, right, nail this braking zone in turn one. So I got that sort of right. Then the second one, I messed up in turn two. And then I actually said out loud, right, I'm going to have to nail this brake zone onto the back straight. And I missed it. I completely missed it. I saw the delta time just go up to about 3/10 quicker than what I've normally gone through there. And I was all over the place, and that was it. And then I've got a 35 ramp in the back of the car, so it's all over the place when I'm putting my foot down. And then he got me, and then, yeah, oh, man. Over the line. I actually thought I was over the line when I wrecked it. So it wasn't official rage quit. It wasn't actually a rage quit. It was like, okay, I've finished finally. But yeah, okay. Drop week.
Yeah, I mean, you've still got the rest of the season to regroup yourself, you could say. So, but on the plus side, that you're basically leading for most of the race, and I think for most of the season, or you've got any expectations, or is it just take it as it comes?
The most annoying thing about today was I actually didn't expect to win it. I'm not very good at this track. I mean, yeah, okay, I got pole, and I'm not too bad in qualifying, and not too bad at holding the over off behind me for the whole of the race. But if he had got in front earlier, he would have just disappeared into the distance. I'm not that good at this track, so when I was out front for so long, I actually thought to myself, God, this is one I really want to win. I don't think I've ever won a main race here at Okayama. So it was one of the ones that I really wanted to win. And the rest of the season looks all right. They're all sort of good tracks for me, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, yeah, man, tough day.
Well, your pace was good for the start of the season, Mick, and it was unfortunate about the end of the race. But on the other hand, we look forward to see.
It wasn't a race. Sorry, Ryan.
I was just going to say, we'll look forward to seeing you on track for the rest of the season if you plan to race, basically do all the season. But anyway, it's good to see you in the booth, and wish you luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, cheers, guys. Yeah, I'll be here for the rest of the season. Cheers. See you later.
That was Mick Kletch talking to Ryan Walker right there. And sadly, that's all we have time for today. It's also the last guy that actually wanted to speak to us right there, Mick Kletch. So with that, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on the track today for a great show. And especially the Lotus 49 community for contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC users to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, on Instagram at GSRC_round. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark it down your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Ryan, and Doug, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as over Trangrate took away the victory here in virtual Okayama. With that said, until next time, so and sayonara, and as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.